نجاتی برای ما نیست. گرفتاری ما تمومی نداره. حالا اگه ایمان داشته باشی به بلد راهت که امام معصوم باشه و یقین داشته باشی که کلامش حقه، چه نتیجه ای میگیری برای نجات تو این آخرت.
دنيانا ظلام والخدمة ضوء، ما يبكي حرام يطبري ثوى، ما عند حسين آخر تلوى.
We question our daily position, seeking answers and definitions. Get the queries off your chest with Ahkam SOS.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ahkam SOS, the show that discusses Islamic duties and practices. MashaAllah, we are in the holy month of Dhul Hijjah. Many have been going towards the pilgrimage and performing the Hajj. Tomorrow will be the day of Arafah. And tonight is, unfortunately, the final show of this season of Ahkam SOS. And inshallah, will be coming to your screens very, very soon. This is a live show. We do take in all your questions. So if you have any questions you would like to ask, please send it in via the WhatsApp, the email address. Give us a call, 0203 515 0199. Inshallah, myself and the Sheikh will be able to discuss and answer your questions. I'm your host, Hussein Shah, and joining me is Sheikh Ali Imam. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
How are you this evening?
Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, Sheikh, tomorrow is the day of Arafah, a very, very spiritual, holy and sanctifiable day. What are the amal recommended to do for tomorrow?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. Of course, it's a blessed day, the day of dua, the day of invoking Allah Azza wa Jal, especially for those who are in the land of Arafat. They have better in terms of invoking and reciting ad'iyah. If not, those who are in Karbala, again, Ziyarat al-Hussein alayhi salam on the day of Arafah, again, a great blessing for those Zuwar who are on that day and reciting the ad'iyah next to the shrine of Imam Abi Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. In overall, the main amal of the day of Arafah, number one is ghusl. So mustahab ghusl of the day of Arafah, the one can perform same as any other ghusl performed. The second amal is Ziyarat al-Hussein alayhi salam.
Yes.
For the one who can visit Imam Hussein alayhi salam. If you can go to Karbala, that would be great. If not, you visit the Imam from the far distance. And for the reward for visiting Imam Hussein alayhi salam on the day of Arafah, equivalent Hajj and 1,000 Umrah. In other words, you get the thawab of the mustahab Hajj and mustahab Umrah as a result of visiting Imam Hussein salamullahi alayhi on the day of Arafah. Now, of course, the nearer, the more. Of course, you know, the rewards, the thawab differs between the one who is from far distance and to the one who is near and next to the shrine. It depends.
Yes.
على كل حال. And the third amal on this day is to pray 2 rak'ah mustahab of salah after you have performed your wajib dhuhr and asr salah.
Okay.
So you recite 2 rak'ah salah على كل حال, and then you start after this salah the dua of Arafah.
The 2 rakat nafil, prayed like the Fajr one?
Exactly, yeah.
Alhamd,
exactly.
any surah? Just
exactly.
standard nafila.
And then you confess to Allah Azza wa Jalla your sins after the salah.
Okay.
So you start, you confess, you ask Allah's repentance and tawbah
Yes.
and istighfar to Allah Azza wa Jal, and then you start Dua Arafah, in which Imam Hussein Salamullah alayh recited this dua under the heat wave of the sun with his family and companions or whoever was there in Arafat. The Imam recited this long dua, and important for us to read at least the translation of the dua and to understand the contents of this great dua. And of course, try to remember also those who are in difficulties nowadays, from our brothers and sisters, especially to remember those who are being persecuted every day and being attacked in their villages, in their hometowns, being killed, tortured, and dragged from their hometowns away in the deserts by the so-called Taliban terrorist group, in which are killing innocent people in Afghanistan. And sadly, nobody is really focusing and paying attention to this atrocities in Afghanistan. They've left those individuals alone to be killed, murdered, persecuted, tortured. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to lift this difficulty from this country, from the people of Afghanistan overall, and to destroy this terrorist group in which they have been there for decades, destroying, killing innocent people and even the animals. They have no mercy, no humanity at all towards anyone. And sadly, the bordering countries, the Muslim countries, are not taking care of defending the Afghanistani brothers and sisters, be it Shia or even non-Shia. We have also Sunnis who were attacked by them and killed. So sadly, it's a betrayal by the Muslim countries surrounding Afghanistan, who left the Afghanis to face murder and bloodshed. Sadly, it's a betrayal.
Indeed.
And Allah Azza wa Jalla will take the revenge in dunya before the akhirah. It's a warning for them. Ala kulli hal.
Inshallah, ahsant. Sheikh, we are in the West, and we live in a Western country, and live in houses where people lived before. Do we deem the things like doors, water taps, and whatever we can touch with wet hands as najis?
In overall, everything is tahir and pure, unless you are certain it is impure. So you can't really say that this carpet or this sofa or the tabs or the sink is impure because the previous tenant or the user was actually a non-Muslim, for example. And I think that these are all najis. No, you can't. You have to prove it. So unless you have a strong proof or an evidence that they are all najis, then of course you have to take precaution in terms of using them. Otherwise, everything is tahir, pure.
I see. Sheikh, a question coming in from one of our viewers, and that is it permissible for me as a female to attend dancing lessons in female-only classes with the opinion of His Eminence, the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani? Now, Sheikh, I don't know if you're aware, but there's many fitness groups, fitness like styles, which incorporate dance. Zumba was very famous a couple of years back and so forth, and there's loads of other ones as well. So there's no men here, there's no mixed gatherings and so forth. Let's assume that they'll be fully covered. There's no one can see into the class. There's no glass window or anything like that. According to His Eminence Sayyid Sistani, can this female sister, can she attend the class for fitness reasons?
The Sayyid mentions clearly that it is not permissible as a matter of precaution, ihtiyat wujubi, obligatory precaution. Because in overall, some ulama mention that the dance of a female with a female is not allowed, and a man with a... Yes, the only exception is the dance of a wife with the husband. That's only allowed without playing the songs and music and so forth. So that's why you see sometimes they won't allow it, because there's dance, there's also, I think, music as well played when they actually exercise. So that's another issue as well.
Sheikh, another question from one of the viewers. Is it prohibited for men to listen to women reciting lamentations? Now, it's not mentioned specifically if the woman is in front of the male reciting, but let's just say they're not. So, to listen to the female reciting lamentations, whether it's on television or, audio or so forth, is this acceptable or non-acceptable?
If it's in front of males, then the prohibition is about softening their voice when they recite. Because the Holy Quran states in Surah number 33, ayah 32, so do not speak too softly. وَلَا فَلَا تَخْضَعْنَ بِالْقَوْلِ. That's the issue in which makes it prohibited and haram, when there's softening the voice. And this happens when, let's say, a woman sings, for example, and that requires softening the voice. That becomes haram if there's a male who is not mahram listening to this woman. This is where it's been prohibited.
Sheikh, if for some reason an individual fears using water on their body for wudu, for example, maybe because of diseases or ailments or bringing some sort of harm or physical defect, it could be anything. Can that person resort to tayammum? Now, I've said out of the fear of these things, not that he's actually got them, so forth. So, can they resort to tayammum, or should they continue with the wudu until they're certain the water will bring damage to or harm to the body?
Yes, of course, if there is harm, then it is obligatory and wajib for them to use tayammum instead. But if there is some kind of possibility that they can, instead of using cold water, they can use warm water. Sometimes, the harmful is when you use cold water, but warm water would be fine. Then they cannot actually resort to tayammum when there is a possibility of using warm water for the ghusl or wudu. Then they can't use tayammum. If water is absolutely not is harmful for them, then of course they can resort to tayammum in this case.
I see. Sheikh, a question from one of our viewers. What is the criterion in identifying the prohibited music and the musical tunes used? Now, Sheikh, I know this, that here at Imam Hussein TV, you are one of the people that has to go through and check all the sound to make sure that it's halal and that we can use it. So, whoever's asked these questions has got the best person who to answer it for. Sheikh, please, what is the criteria for prohibited music?
You see, anything that is said to be music, then it's absolutely haram, according to Ayatollah al-Shirazi. Because some of the ulama consider that the music are in two types. Number one, the joyful, entertaining one, which are the songs. Yes. That's haram. But we have what is known as classical music, non-entertaining, non-joyful music, which is used in news programs, for example, and the start of the end of some programs, for example.
Yeah, okay, so in television you can say.
Yeah, exactly. So some ulama would say that is allowed. But the ones which are entertaining, song types, singing types, that is haram. But Ayatollah Shirazi and some other maraja would say no, all types of music, be it classical, be it joyful, be it entertaining, they are all haram. They are coming out from a musical instrument which is by itself is haram.
So what happens if one is like in a situation where they are hearing singing, they're compelled in this circumstance, given that one listens to it without being drawn by it or inheriting it?
You see, listening is not permissible. What we have is hearing. In other words, you hear something from the background. Let's say I'm now sitting now talking to you, for example, now, and somebody plays the music in the background. I'm not hearing the tunes and the lyrics and the melody.
You mean you're not paying attention?
Exactly, but we're just talking. That is allowed. That type of hearing is allowed.
Okay.
So sometimes you're in the car and you're compelled to, the driver, playing the music loud. But you're talking to the phone, for example, with a friend.
Yeah.
Not paying attention to the music played. That is allowed, which is known as sima'. Not istima'. Istima' is haram, but sima' is allowed. So some ulama would allow this. Yes, you can hear the background music, which is in the supermarkets, in sports shops, and so forth.
Yes. Like, Sheikh, what about when you're learning a foreign language? Sometimes the teachers, they will use music to help you. I remember when I was at school learning a foreign language, some lessons, they brought in music from the country of the language and so forth. So to aid you with learning your language, can you use music?
Learning a second language or third language, that would be fine. But you're not allowed to use the music as a means. Because sometimes they actually sing. There's a song in which they sing it and they teach you. So if it's, again, we go to Ayatollah Shirazi's opinion and some others, absolutely they're all haram. Any type of music. But to Ayatollah Sistani and others, of course, it's broken down to entertaining, joyful music, tempting music, which is haram, with the classical, normal music, which is not haram, according to some of the ulama.
Sheikh, when it comes to the Sharia, what does it say in regards to the exceptions of giving or taking interest?
Basically, there's no interest between the father and the offspring, taking or giving.
Yes.
And there's no interest between the husband and the wife. So they can give and take.
Yes.
In other words, they can actually give extra. But it's not counted as riba or interest and so forth. So that's the exception, basically.
Okay. Shaykh, a question from one of our viewers. Is it permissible for men to wear white or yellow gold, according to His Eminence the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani?
No, it is not permissible. The hadith from Imam As-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says, لا يلبس الرجل الذهب. A man cannot wear gold, ولا يصلي, pray with that gold, لأنه من لباس أهل الجنة, because it's part of the garment of the paradise. The one who wears the gold in paradise, not in dunya. Allah has given us these as rewards in paradise.
Awesome. Sheikh, thank you so much for the whole season, for all of your efforts and all of your work and everything you've done. Behind the scenes that we see, the viewers don't get to see, but I've seen, the amount of research that goes into, what you do, especially with all the questions that come in via the email and the WhatsApp and so forth. So thank you so much. Thank you to all the viewers that have been joining us this whole season on Ahkam SOS. I hope you guys enjoyed it thoroughly. If you did not get your question answered, we do apologize, because we do have a lot of questions that do come in, and we haven't forgotten you guys. We will eventually get to your questions, inshallah, in the next season, which will be after Arba'in. If myself said anything that you may have found offensive, or you were insulted by, or you were upset with us, we ask for your forgiveness, and it was not our intention to upset anyone here on Imam Hussein TV. But inshallah, you guys enjoyed the show thoroughly. Please keep sending in your questions. Send them in via the WhatsApp and the email address. And inshallah, in the new season after Arba'in, we will be able to discuss and answer all of your questions. From myself and from the Sheikh, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
We question our daily position, seeking answers and definitions. Gather queries off your chest with Ahkam SOS.
دنيانا ظلام والخدمة ضوء، ما يبكي حرام يطبري هوى، ما عند حسين آخر تلوى، ما عند حسين آخر تلوى، تاليها يصير والماكو سوى، من حق أهيم محبوب رحيم، ما يرضى يمشي لهوى.
Caught for raping him, girls. You're here defending the paedophile. I'm here defending your dad. These women are here defending the paedophile. You're here defending.
We don't need a TV channel because we've got mosques.
We have Islamic centres that are always open.
We have schools teaching Islam.
Hijab is part of a school uniform.
Islam has come and it's established here in the West.
And everyone's happy. They love us, our food, our fashion,
our culture.
The media is always on our side.
We've got plenty of English speakers, plenty of English books,
and plenty of places to go and learn in the English language.
Let's be real.
Let's get active. Be more involved.
www.imamhusseinfree.tv.
Even death was not able to separate Abbas from Hussein, just as the haram of Abbas cannot be separated from the haram of Hussein, in the same way that Safa can never be separated from the mountain of Marwa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the mountain of Safa and Marwa to be from the sha'air Allah. Similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the haram of Abbas and the haram of Hussein to be sha'air Allah al-kubra. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will that between the haram of Abbas and the haram of Hussein, there is a land of mawaddah, there is a land of azar, there is a land of ishq, there is a land of junoon. This is the land of Bayn al-Haramain. So long as this haram of Abbas and the haram of Hussein remains, people until the day of judgment will beat their faces and chests shouting, Ya Abbas and Ya Hussein. The divine decree of Allah is that from the land of Bayn al-Haramain, every time a tear is shed for Hussein, a tear is shed for Abbas. It is the divine decree that from Bayn al-Haramain, so long as there is a chant Ya Hussein, it will be accompanied with a chant Ya Abbas. The decree of Allah is that Abbas can never be separated from Hussein.
Imam Hussein Media Group is a university that works on a global scale to spread the true message of the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt, peace and blessings be upon them. Imam Hussein TV was established 10 years ago in the city of Isfahan, Iran. We work to cover all aspects of religion, Islamic jurisprudence, politics, philosophy and many more, and aim to bring the public's attention to the righteous Islamic sect, Shia Islam. Our ultimate goal as a media group is to convey the interpretations of the Holy Quran as well as the traditions and knowledge of the Holy Prophet and his progeny, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon them. Our objectives are to protect and safeguard the Shia youth from the destructive impact of immoral ideologies, standing up against injustice by documenting the oppression of Shia across the globe, as well as encouraging peace and unity amongst the Muslims. To reach our aims and serve the Muslim Ummah, we require a budget that would cover all the expenses for our productions, allowing us to work on different projects. Imam Hussein Media Group is a crowd-funded project. We have no sales nor do we charge for our services. We solely rely on monthly payments, financial contributions, donations, religious alms and generous gifts. The expenses of each production varies depending on the type of project and the style of filming. There are many elements to a production that requires time and capital. The producer must analyze the costs of the venue hire, equipment, transport, feature fees, set design, staff support and further additional costs. The Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, narrated, "The best of people is he from whom people benefit." It is up to you to help the Muslim Ummah come together and help guide the youth in remaining on the correct path of Islam. To take part in this global conquest and to spread the message of Imam Hussein, peace and blessings be upon him, please visit www.imamhussein3.tv or give us a call on +44 0203 515 0199. You can also contact us via WhatsApp, Telegram, SMS, or even email us donate@imamhussein.tv. Let's work together hand in hand to elevate the faith of our Shia youth today.
And opposite me, your pure shrine lies. All my life I've lived, now I meet with my demise. Karbala, I shed my tears wondering what I have been. I come to you dressed in all my lies and sin. I can't bear, oh forgive her. Now I'm here in Karbala, Karbala.